So this is how I'm prepping for the Elite Four. Originally, I just had my own little team of 6 Pokemon. I was thinking, just gonna run through the game like that, but then I realized that you could just farm Blissey up in here. Not only could you farm Blissey, but you could get lucky eggs off them. Mad easy, same way that we're training right here. Literally just registering Blissey in the Dex nav. You know, you go into your Dex nav, you register it to the L button, and then you're set. I just ended up putting my whole playthrough on hold because as soon as I figured out that you could do this, I was like, dude, I may as well get as many Pokemon as I want to level 50. Get my Pokedex just about done. Especially because, you know, if you don't know, you can just edit all the IVs, all the EVs, as soon as you beat the Elite Four and make your way to the Battle Frontier. So I was like, yo, let me just get myself set up, dude. And then I can handpick my Pokemon from every Pokemon that I can get in the game up until this point for my Elite Four run. So what's my actual setup here, right? Basically, it's just a lucky egg on every single Pokemon. The biggest thing is you're going to want at least one Pokemon on your team that you're taking in to be at least level 25 and know some physical moves so it can mess up these Blissies. I'm not gonna lie, there are times where this process can be kind of cancer because these Blissies in here, their moveset, they have minimized to increase their evasion and they can put you to sleep. So there are times where you get put to sleep, it hits max evasion and you're just losing all your power points for your moves, which is why I really wouldn't recommend trying to train on these things with any sort of special attacks. Because, you know, if it's like a 7 hit to 10 hit kill on it, that just gives it so much time to just have you asleep, to have it evading everything. You don't want to deal with that. So I wouldn't recommend using repels until most of your Pokemon are like around level 35 and you got like your main one you entered is above 40, because below level 40 or even at level 40 you're going to still be encountering wild Pokemon, so it's just not really worth. But it really will speed up the tail end of this grind to have those repels going. You'll notice I'm kind of staying in the same little area here for catching these Blissies. This is just what works for me, and I find that for the most part they're not popping up anywhere I can't run to. When you're first coming in here and like your highest level Pokemon's like mid 20s, early 30s, and the rest of your team is like low level, it can be kind of cancer getting there, dude. There's been a few times I've almost wiped just trying to get to this spot, but obviously the further along into this grind you get, the less of a problem that becomes. Another cool side thing, I've gotten 2 shiny Blissies so far just doing this method. Because you know what? You're going to encounter a lot of Blissey. And it isn't lost on me that you could use the cheat codes that come with this ROM hack to give yourself a bunch of money, to give yourself infinite rare candies. But, you know, I like doing a method that, for me, this is like making the most of what would be a legit way of going about it, right? You know, this isn't the quickest method, but for me, it's a fun method. I get to see all my Pokemon growing. I feel like I actually trained them myself. Right? Because if you aren't developing a parasocial relationship with your Pokemon, what are you really doing? You know? I'm out here to make memories, dude. I want to send my Pokemon out and know, yo, he murked about 20 Blissies personally, and was hanging with a crew that murked another 100 more than that. You know what I mean? Now, finishing up this team here that you see in the video will make the 3rd complete box of Pokemon that I've trained using this method. Now, as far as catching all those Pokemon, couldn't be more simple. Get yourself a Shroomish, evolve it to Breloom, make sure it's got the Technician ability, give it False Swipe, give it Spore. Now that pretty much wraps up what I gotta say about this method for the moment. So I'm gonna catch up with you near the end of the video and just let this royalty-free music do its thing. So this absolute banger of a track is called Into It 256 by Kevin MacLeod. I'll have that in the description as well for anyone that's curious. So wrapping up here, I was playing with my ramen fast forward. This whole process for this one team of 6 only took about 30 minutes, which really isn't that bad. And now I'm just gonna go through, show you the mons I got so far. Hope you learned something from this. Hope you got something out of this. Maybe you just like my vibe, you know. Either way, have a great day.